Are you guys ready to meet everybody? All right. First off, the man behind the curtain, the executive producer, writer of the show, Jeff Schaffer. Let's hear for Jeff Schaffer. You should care more about him. The incredible Leon Black, JB Smoove, everybody. Oh boy. Larry's former wife, Cheryl David. Cheryl Hines, everybody. It's Miss Susie Green, the hilarious Susie Essman. Fellow executive producer, been there from day one, played Jeff Green. Let's hear it for Jeff Garlin. And the man of the hour, Mr. Larry David.
Curtsy a little bit. A little curtsy.
Are you done? Can we talk?
I forgot we were wired.
Oh, Larry,
I forgot.
How do you feel in the aftermath of the finale running? Are you basking in the glow?
There was a week of basking, yes. There was a great basking week. Honestly, I was kind of blown away at the response to the finale. Yeah. I think we all were. It exceeded my wildest expectations. Of course, I never have expectations for anything, so it's easy to exceed it. Yeah.
Do you pay attention to reviews? Will you actually read an article about the finale?
Only if they're good, yes.
Yeah. Do you have like a team of people who thin out the bad ones?
You know what? It's like I could smell it if it's bad.
Yeah.
You just know. You just know.
Yeah.
The Guardian's great because they put the stars before you read it.
Oh.
So,
You know what you're in for.
Yeah.
Well, it's been a long ride. You did how many shows total in the life of this?
120.
121.
Yeah, plus the special.
But then there was a special, so that's 121.
Because the same year you premiered, Family Guy premiered, and in that time they did 413 shows. So I don't know why you're slacking like this, but it's a slow pace. You made us all work for it. Susie, how are you feeling?
I feel good.
Yeah?
Yeah. I'm with my family here.
Yeah. Is it emotional? Because, I mean, it's 24 years.
Yeah, you know, it's interesting because I've been asked that a lot. We wrapped a year ago.
Yeah.
So I've had I processed this like 11 months ago.
So you don't care anymore?
No, I care, but it's it's done. It's
Yeah.
like
You're ready to move on.
I'm ready to, yes.
And when you're yelling at Jeff and Larry on the show, like deep in your heart, what are you feeding off of?
Well, it depends. Sometimes it depends on when we're shooting. Like, there was a guy who was president a while ago that I could think of him and just get really fucking angry. That was easy.
Obama?
Benjamin Franklin. No, he was never president. Like when I was bringing up teenagers, sometimes I would just, they would be a good source to just really get fucking angry. But usually it's what they're usually doing something to me that's easy to, it's always provoked.
Yeah, let's not turn yourself into a method actress. You didn't need any help to yell at me
exactly.
in those scenes. Yeah.
And Jeff, you've been there since the very beginning.
Yeah.
I watched the first episode last night. Larry had some black hair. There was some black hair.
I like to think of it as dark brown.
But Jeff, talk about just like the origins and what were the eras of the show? Like, do you see the show in certain eras that it changed?
Well, at first it was just individual episodes.
Yeah.
When did you go to the
Second season.
second season? Yeah, so first season,
There was no arc the first season.
no arc. No arc. And then it became archy.
Yeah.
I don't know.
And
Much harder to write.
much harder to write, to connect everything for the whole
Oh, yeah,
season.
yeah.
Did you guys get better at figuring out how to do a season?
Every season, Larry says, maybe we'll only do 8 this year. Every episode, there's a spot on the dry erase board, 3 columns, there's 4 columns on the dry erase board. One scene into the 4th column, we literally drew a red line, because right there he just goes, maybe we should call HBO and tell them we're not doing it. Every episode. And then he goes, is this one harder than all the others? Every episode. So no, it didn't get easier.
Do you guys like all the episodes? Like, Cheryl, is there an episode that you think that's... If I
You
had
know,
to
your
explain
questions
it-
are ridiculous.
Sorry.
Listen,
They're aggressive.
We're gonna sit next to Larry David and go, you know what episode sucked and made me nuts? What are you talking about?
It's just
Stop
'cause-
it, Jeff.
It's just because you do that to me on the
I
phone.
could take it.
I
Go
do
ahead.
that to you on the phone. I know.
I could take it. Go ahead.
Yeah. All right, you can take it.
What's the one that you would show someone, like, let's say you knew someone who just turned 13 and was ready to watch the show.
Oh, God. Which episode would I show them to, like, this is the best of the best?
Yes.
Well, if she's 13, beloved cunt, probably.
Yeah.
Or the pubic hair. The pubic hair in the
The
throat.
pubic hair, that's a good one. Yeah,
I
that's a
like
good one.
Wandering Bear.
Yeah.
I liked when Larry ate baby Jesus. When we made a manger scene out of cookies.
Yeah.
And then Larry ate
Yeah,
baby
and
Jesus.
I had the fight with Joseph.
Yeah,
after.
and Mary.
I asked Joseph if he was attracted to Mary. She had a nice figure. Yeah.
And JB, for you, I would assume it's your introduction episode.
You know what? Kind of came in guns blazing a little bit, but I got to tell you, you know, we're New Yorkers up here, me and Larry. I just fell in love with the New York season. I told Larry I just found it to be, it's my childhood, Mr. Softy and all, you know, the Mets and all that stuff that happened. This guy has an amazing memory. I mean, he brought me back to my childhood with the New York season. I love the New York season. Although I love Leon showing up, you know, getting that ass Larry and all that stuff, you know. But New York was my thing, you know.
Yeah.
Champagne-filled croissants and shit like that, you know. Shit like that.
That was a great season.
I keep hearing Larry in interviews saying that you're the only one in the show who isn't like your character.
That's fucking bullshit.
Exactly, right? Like, where does that come from, Larry, the idea that he's not like that?
What,
Is that Leon? That's not Leon.
Leon could never wear this kind of shit. No, I understand what he means. It is a turn that has to be made.
Mm-hmm.
You know, he has a certain cadence. He holds his head a certain way. He holds his robe with no belt and shit, you know? little nuances that the guy has to do. And Larry knows it. I wouldn't do that Leon shit at home. My wife would be like, who the fuck are you? You know? but she does separate the characters herself.
What I was saying is that all of us, except for JB,
Yeah.
we're all doing pretty much ourselves. Yeah, that's me. Yeah.
It's not me.
Yeah, it's not me.
I feel like it's not me.
No, here's what I want to say. Hold on.
Yeah.
So the part of me is that the way I talk and I do my own
Yeah.
mannerisms.
Yeah.
The character? Are you fucking kidding me? I'm nothing like that guy. I'm nothing like him. Oh, I dare you. I dare you.
Okay.
Maybe Jeff is more like Larry in life.
Oh.
There was a period like that, and it didn't work out too well for me.
Well, then I take back my compliment. I guess I'm the only one who's doing a part of myself.
Yeah. Well, because you like to say, like, this is what I wish I could do in real life. And I had a friend, and he walked up to me one day, and he's like, I was at the Lantana offices and got into a fight with Larry over a parking spot, and it was exactly the show.
Really?
It wasn't like he was really soft and nice. Like, Larry cursed me out.
Yeah, that's my guy. Yeah.
You know what, though? I will say this. Kind of like based on, you know, people saying, I feel like I'm in the Twilight Zone. People are going to forever say, this is so Kirby. Mm-hmm. It's going to always be there. Because I hear that all the time. This is such a Curb moment. I'm like, yeah, it is. This is fucked up. Or whatever it is. But people have stretched that from the Twilight Zone into Curb Your Enthusiasm. I hear it all the time. Because there are moments where you are fucking cringy and you want to fucking punch somebody in the fucking face. No, we all go through these moments, and Larry has found those moments, and he remembers them and writes them down, and they become amazing historic moments on the show. And these are things we're gonna forever, because we are human beings, we're gonna forever have these moments.
It's a time capsule.
It's an odd thing about this cringy thing.
Yeah.
I never dreamed in a million years that it would have that kind of effect on people. Like after the second or third show, I hear, oh, it's cringy. I'm cringing. I had to leave the room. You left the room? Why are you leaving the room? What do you mean you left the room? I had no idea. And when people call it cringe comedy, I want to wring their necks.
People,
I hear that so much. Larry, I hear it so much. People will say, Jewish people say, I'll meet them on the plane, they'll sit next to me and say, oh, I know you from the show. I can't do it. I can't do it. I can't. It just makes me cringe.
Yeah, so don't watch it.
Don't fucking watch it.
Although, Larry, when you hug a child with a water bottle in your pants and she gets wet, it would be weird if we didn't cringe.
I don't understand how that's cringeworthy.
What have we called it? What have we called it? It's a comedy horror movie sometimes, right? In a horror movie, it's like, there's a monster in the house. Let's split up. I'll go take a shower. You're like, don't do that. And in the show, there's this thing that you do, I call it the itchy tag theory, where you talk to somebody, and then you go, and you know what's going to happen. Or you leave and then you're coming back, and people go, don't go back, don't go back, don't go back. He's going back, he's going back. And there's that. To me, it's a comedy horror movie.
Seriously, is that your water or is that my water?
That's Larry.
That's
Yours
mine.
is on the back. It's
That's
on the
mine.
back. On the other
Yours is
side of
here.
yeah.
Oh, okay. Like I'm gonna.
Here we go again.
Yep.
Doing it.
Thank you, Susie.
Would you drink Larry's water?
I would not drink Larry's water. No fucking way.
Bruce Springsteen drank Larry's water, and look what happened.
Now, how was Bruce? I mean, Larry, do you get intimidated by any of the guest stars? Is there anyone that it makes you a little nervous to have to act with?
No.
No? Isn't it kind of fun, though? It's like kind of fun, like when Bruce comes on the set and he's nervous, you're like, the boss is scared.
Yeah, he never did it before.
Yeah.
But he was great.
Yeah, he was good. Well, then he defeated all of you.
Yeah.
He conquered you. You're like, hey, I can do the singing and I can kick ass on your show.
One episode.
Oh, yeah, exactly. Although you did have a sense if you kept him on, he probably would keep killing.
Maybe.
Right?
You know, to do it week after week.
Yes.
Yeah.
Now, Jeff, when Springsteen shows up, I assume you're the guy knocking on the trailer, filling him in on what's about to happen. Would I assume that's your job?
Yeah, I mean, so there's a few things that happen. One, we're a location-based show, so sometimes a guest star will come in and their first scene, the first time they're ever on the curb set, is the final scene of their story. And we may not see them again for a few months, so you have to explain, here's where we are on the show, here's this, here's that. Also, we don't rehearse. So on set, it's literally, we move people through time and space, but they say blah, blah, blah. So it's blah, 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 you sit down, blah, 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 he comes in, blah, 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 because Larry wants to be surprised. The downside of everyone being surprised is that sometimes people don't know what the fuck is going on. So you want to make sure that everybody sort of knows, don't say this because we're going to do this later, don't do this. So I'll talk to all these guys because Larry doesn't want to know what they're going to say. The show is Larry against the world, and that's how we shoot it. We surprise Larry. And
when I come to work, I pretty much have no idea, you know this, no idea what we're shooting, and I go, what am I doing here?
Yeah.
You tell me and we do it.
Yeah, I'll talk to you, and everyone has an MO, like, we talk about stuff you're gonna do, and JB walks in and he goes, I'm just gonna fuck Larry up.
Yeah, I mean,
All right.
the one thing that I really like about our show, that I feel distinguishes it from a lot of other shows, is that we're hearing stuff for the first time. So the laughing is genuine. We're actually laughing because it's not rehearsed and we're making it up. And so I love it when we're laughing because somebody said something funny, and that's what you do when somebody says something funny, you laugh. Like in most shows, people are saying funny things all the time, but nobody's laughing. Because it's hard to fake a laugh. And you've heard the line 15, 20 times.
Right, but we have to decide sometimes, if I know it's coming, I have to decide whether or not to get out of an overview and onto a single of the other person, so it doesn't look like this. that we can't use.
Yeah, I mean, all
he
these
laughs
guys,
all the time.
All these guys kill me.
One time Larry and I were sitting on a couch talking, and then the director yelled, cut. And I said, I did not know we were rolling. Well, there have been moments where it's just, the reality and shooting just, blurs.
Who, for all of you, was the most exciting person to come on as a guest star?
Oh, there's been so many.
Just comedically.
For me, it was Mel Brooks.
Yes.
Because he was a childhood hero. And usually you meet your childhood heroes and you're really disappointed. And I was not with him. And to meet somebody who had such a huge influence on my comedic timing and style was a dream come true.
Jeff?
Bruce Springsteen. I mean, I'm sitting with a guy that I've loved since I'm 13 years old, and I'm helping him get through the day. And he was very appreciative, invited me to a show. I went and, fuck yeah, Bruce Springsteen. And you know what? So much of the day I was alone with him, and it was fuck.
Did he want to be alone with you?
I don't think if he would have chosen ahead of time that he would want to be with me. No, why would he?
Yeah.
But he was stuck with me, and we made the best of it.
Yeah.
Well, why would he? He's a fan of the show.
I don't know.
No, he is.
I know, but a fan of the show, whatever.
Was there anyone you were really excited to get on the show, Larry, like Shelley Berman or one of the legends?
I was excited about Mel Brooks.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would say Mel. I was. I may not show it here, but I was at the time.
Was Mel a childhood,
Yes.
one of the reasons why you got into comedy because of Mel?
Oh, yeah.
Well, I wouldn't say he was one of the reasons.
Yeah.
For me, one of the reasons.
Was there a person that was the
reason? The
reason?
I got into comedy is because there was nothing else I could possibly do.
Yeah.
It was a last resort.
Yeah.
I didn't want it. I didn't want to do it.
Who told you that you could do it?
My friend's wife from New Jersey
Yeah.
said, Larry, you're very funny. You should be a comedian.
Come on.
And that's all it took.
That's all it took. Yeah.
And you never thought about it your whole life before that.
I have never
considered it.
heard that before, ever.
Yeah.
Holy shit.
And did you ever send her a check?
Well, so I'll just tell it's a quick story. I was at the Improv one night after she had said that to me, okay? and I'm watching the show. It's a Saturday night, it's a packed house. And I'm watching the comedians, and I'm thinking, I can do that. He's funny. Why is he funnier than me? I was funny. Mike's funny as hell. I was funny as him. I leave my seat. I go, who puts these people on? And somebody says, that guy over there, and they're pointing to Bud Friedman. The legendary Bud Friedman, the owner of the Improv. And I walk up to him in the middle of the show on a Saturday night, packed house. And I go, can I go on? And he says, who are you? I said, I'm in the audience. He said, are you a comedian? I said, no.
What were you going to say if you
I have no idea. I thought they were making it up. I thought the comedians were making it up.
Yeah.
I didn't know that it was like that was like 3 years old what they were saying. You know?
How did you survive those years?
Me?
Yeah.
I had some odd jobs. I was a private chauffeur, taxi driver,
bra salesman,
collected unemployment in between.
Because I remember when I first started, everyone would say, oh, Larry's the guy that will walk on stage, decide he doesn't like the audience, and walk off.
It's true.
Was that like a legend, like it happened once, or would that actually happen?
No, I did it once.
Yeah.
I did it once.
Now,
I had heard them in the bar. Mm-hmm. I didn't like the way they were behaving.
I remember once at Catch a Rising Star, you were killing, and one woman looked at her watch and you stormed off.
I've seen him walk up, look at the audience and go, not tonight. So once, you're a loser.
What guests were you excited by, Cheryl?
Well, for me, it was the whole cast of Seinfeld. So that, and that was, I mean, of course I loved Julia, I love all of them, but Julia is, an inspiration. But being on the set of Seinfeld, and I remember we did a table read, which we never do because we don't have a script, but on the show, we did Seinfeld, and then we had a table read in the show. So I'm looking and I'm seeing all the guys from Seinfeld, and then all of our guys and girls. And it was just like, wow, I've made it.
Yeah. And JB?
Oh man, I think one of the bravest people I've seen do the show was Michael J. Fox. That shit was, I used to drive home saying to myself, that's fucked up what Larry did to him. That's when I was me. You know what I'm saying? That's when I was in Leon. I was myself. I was driving, that's fucked up. I used to love that motherfucking sister on Family Ties. Fucking Mallory? Fucking Mallory? Shit, come on, man.
Do you remember anything you improvised with Michael J. Fox that they cut out of the show?
No, Larry and I had some funny shit we were doing. One was you get that motherfucker a carton of milk, turn that shit to a milkshake. That was one. And the other one was, I said, you're lucky.
Oh no.
You're lucky you didn't have a dick in your hand, because you take that shit up and shoot sperm in your face.
Oh my God.
And Larry said, why would I have a dick in my hand?
Oh my God.
I'm just giving you examples of shit you can shake up. Yeah. No, I think that was the bravest shit I've ever seen in my life, because he's dealing with that shit for real.
Yeah.
And he came on the show, man, and he showed he was human.
Yeah.
He showed he was funny. All these things. It just touched me so much, man. You know, and I found that to be what we fucking do so well, which is make people happy, make people laugh, but through our own pain, we could find a way that people could relate to us. And
Well, there's been a lot of that on the show where you bring people on who are having some issue in their lives and it somehow make them discuss it and work through it. Bill Buckner was an incredible episode.
Yeah.
How was he about that?
Unequivocally the best one ever. In terms of, you know.
What's the call like to Bill Buckner when you ask him to do the show?
You know, it was tough because if he doesn't want to do it, then it's back to the drawing board. There's no show without him. There was nobody we could plug in his place to experience something like that. By the way, that idea of Buckner catching the baby, that was submitted by this writer in Chicago named Pat McNally, who's since passed away. But I love that idea because I felt so awful for that guy for years, what he went through in Boston. And then when I saw that idea, I said, "Well, we've got to do this." And I called him, and all I could do was just pitch him the show. And he said he'd get back to me, and then he said, "Okay." And then I thought, well, maybe he should drop the baby.
Oh my God.
Was he a fan of the show? Like, did he know you?
I don't think he was.
He was a delightful guy.
A great guy.
And when he throws the ball out the window, the Mookie Wilson ball, and you lose your shit at Bill Buckner, awesome.
It was fun.
I thought Lori Loughlin was pretty fantastic.
Fantastic.
I mean, really,
Turned
really
herself
funny.
in.
Yes.
You know, I mean, there's nothing funnier than admitting that about yourself.
I mean, when she got into the car with the handicap pass.
Oh, I know.
Oh my God.
I mean, does comedy get better than that? Is that just like you won comedy that day?
You know, I was just thinking, because you mentioned the Buckner, there's been several episodes where if that person didn't say yes, Lin-Manuel
Miranda, we cleverly had no plan B.
Yeah, that's what
And we had written everything, and we called him and said, "Hey, do you want to do this?" He said, "Yeah, I'd love to. I'm about to go to London for 8 months." So we had to shoot, we somehow moved heaven and earth and pushed that one, Colonel Alexander Vindman.
Right.
We never learned to call people first.
Yeah, there was no plan B for Mel Brooks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow. I wrote the 3 or 4 episodes that he was in.
Yeah.
And then I had to have lunch with him and pitch it to him.
How do you like it?
But I could have done Fiddler on the Roof if he said no.
Yeah.
There was another show.
Yeah. Did he have the greatest time, Mel? Because he doesn't do that many things where he's acting like that, where it's improvised anymore. He's famous for the 2,000-year-old man.
Well, he seemed to.
Yeah. And what, let's talk, can we compare and contrast the two Einsteins, Albert Brooks and Bob Einstein?
Oh, they're so different.
Dan, what are you doing? Why are you doing this?
Just in terms of process.
They're such completely different personalities.
Yeah.
Those. I mean, it's just.
Albert Brooks is one of my heroes, comedy heroes. And when he was in your movie, I was beside. Wow. You know what? I've never even asked you if I could come to the set. That was a mistake. But
it was a close
I knew
set.
him. But I knew him because we used the same drugstore. And then if we both had to wait, this happened numerous times. We'd sit on the bench outside of the drugstore, and he would have me crying. Yeah.
And Bob? Anyone want to speak to Bob?
Well, Bob, he was so singular.
Part of the heart and soul of our show.
Bob we would do a scene, and in the middle of the scene, he would tell a joke.
Like a joke.
Yeah, like a joke.
A long one.
We're doing a scene. He says, "Hey, so these 2 guys walk into a bar." And I let him go. I didn't even say, "What are you doing? Are you nuts?" You know. And of course, the greatest joke was in that was in the clip.
Yeah.
clip reel, right?
Yeah.
The greatest joke.
That was the greatest joke.
And Jeff, what about you? Who are you most excited about?
Well, the
talking to?
The Seinfeld cast coming back was very special for me because I learned how to do all this on Seinfeld. So the set's back, and Larry is playing Larry, you know, with the Seinfeld cast, and so I just fell back into this role of like, okay, so now I'm standing behind him, and we did a Seinfeld scene, and Larry in the show goes to give the cast notes as scripted in our show, and I start to walk out onto to give notes too, like I would as if it was Seinfeld. And Alec Bergman grabs me and he goes, idiot! We're filming. It's like there's another layer of cameras. You're directing. Stop it! It was just like this instinct of like, that's what we do. It was incredible. And it was, by the way, getting to bring all that full circle and then getting to do it one last time in the season finale was pretty cool. It's like, as Jerry said, it was like a joke 26 years in the making. Like that's. It's neat that you can stick around long enough to do that.
It's a revenge joke, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's a long game.
It's kind of a, oh, fuck you didn't like the first one? You know? Yeah, who cares? Fuck you, we're doing it again.
Did you read the reviews of the first one?
Probably a couple.
Yeah. Does that kind of thing bother you at the time, or it doesn't?
At the time?
Yeah.
I think it did bother me, yes. Yeah.
Enough to plot your revenge for 26 years?
24 years, yeah.
Because in the way, it
26
fixes
years.
the other one, because it's part of a whole.
Yeah. Well,
That's right. It was ambitious in its laziness and unique in its repetition. Like, we couldn't lose.
Could we talk about Richard Lewis for a moment?
Woo!
So the story went around that, did you meet in summer camp?
Well, we were actually born 3 days apart in the same hospital in Brooklyn. And then we met in camp when we were 13.
What camp?
It was called Camp All America.
Was that
Was that really the name, or did you just make that
Oh,
up?
that was the name.
Was it like a Jewish camp?
No.
No, because it's America.
My first experience. But
Are you very campy?
I love camp.
Yeah, so did you go every year to that camp?
No, I switched. I went to different camps, yeah. I went there when I was 13. We met. We hated each other. And then I met him again when I started doing stand-up at the Improv. He was on stage. I remember seeing him. I remember thinking he looked familiar. Then I was in the bar, and he came back out, and he saw me, and we just started talking. And we realized that we went to the camp together and hated each other. And then we became best friends instantly.
Aww.
Instantly.
Oh, man.
I mean, there were things that I said on the show to him that you could only say to somebody that you have that kind of history with. Because we're so comfortable with each other that you get, it was just an extension of what we said to each other off camera.
And you took it all the way to jokes about dying and the will.
Yeah.
And did Richard enjoy just going that dark?
Totally.
Oh, yeah.
I was standing there watching that, I was off camera, and Richard was really happy to do it.
He was very happy he was well enough to do the final season. I know he was thrilled about that.
And by the way, Susie, in my opinion, his best work on the show was this past season.
I agree.
Yeah.
He was great.
I always remember.
He was an unbelievable pain in the ass.
Oh, yeah.
Unbelievable. Jeff, the texting, the emails, back me up.
So, we're shooting tomorrow. So if we were shooting tomorrow, tonight, we would get texts and emails that are worded slightly differently but are the same. And he would get them, I would get them, the AD would get them, and you would answer the question, and then that would start 2 more emails that were, and texts that were, again, worded slightly differently, but also the same question.
Exactly the same questions over and over and over.
Yeah.
And what he used to do at the beginning, I know that he was coming up with lines before the scene.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
And I went up to him, I said, I know what you're doing. You're trying to get your jokes out. I'm not sending you any more scripts. And he's, no, I'll stop. No.
And then but he didn't stop.
No.
Yeah.
And where he usually put his jokes was if we're sitting in a restaurant and the salt and the sugar and the pepper, all that stuff, it was on his side, like, you know, the way you can put the menu in. Boom. And I turned to Larry one time and I went, watch this. And I took it. And he was so mad.
And then, Larry, what you would do to stun him, because he would be doing a joke that he clearly brought in, and you would just ask him random questions. You would say, is life too short?
Yeah.
You think life's too short? and Richard would go,
I wanted to get him off his track. Yeah. So I would completely change the subject.
Yeah. It's like when you do this to a cat. Yeah. And it just goes like, and he didn't know what to do, and then all of a sudden he was just talking like funny Richard Lewis. Because you would snapped him out of it.
He used to call me and beg me to give him the outlines. He would like offer to pay me. He'd beg me to give him the outlines. I wouldn't.
Do you think the show is Jewish humor? Do you ever look through that lens?
I don't see it that way. I've never looked at it that way.
Like there's more swastikas in it than Friends.
That is the most awesome thing. Fucker, that's hilarious. That's so funny.
That was network.
That's network. You can't.
But I actually think with our show, he doesn't intend it. There's a lot of Jewish humor comes out because that's his history, that's my history, and all of our history, including JB and Cheryl. But I feel that our show is the end of an era. It's the end of an era, the reason I came to Hollywood. Like what we do is the last of its kind, I think. I don't know, and maybe you'll write something, maybe something else will be, but to me, I get too emotional, I can't do it. Yeah.
I'd like Jeff to keep going. I'd like to see you fall apart completely.
Well, by the way, turn on the Rich Eisen show. That's the most recent one. I'm not afraid to cry, but on a panel like this, it's not necessary.
Yeah. You don't want the Ben Affleck memes of you crying.
I want any meme that Ben Affleck would get.
Do you feel like this show and South Park were like grandfathered into a certain type of very edgy humor that everyone else is now afraid to do?
Yes. I'll say yes. Because there have been so many, I would read an outline and I would say to Larry, you can't do that. I'm like, people will be so upset. And every time I was shocked. He'd do it and people loved it. And I remember asking you, are there tons of letters that people write in saying,
Yeah.
The only one that I ever heard when I was doing press or anything from anybody was the Jesus tear. That was the only one. And that was the only one that ever was.
There was a torrent of mail.
So not like the tiny kid with the big dick.
No. No. And believe me, when I read that outline, I was like, uh-oh. But no.
But we never, I don't know, when we're writing, we've never looked at each other and go, uh-oh, we can't do this, we're gonna get in trouble.
Or you've never intended to be shocking. Your only intent was to be funny.
Yeah.
That was it.
We've never really thought about that.
People ask me, people ask me what I think when I'm in a scene that's, what is it, uncomfortable? What do people say? Whatever it is. And I'm thinking, I wonder what's at craft service. I'm not at all paying attention to the thing. And a lot of scenes, I love not saying anything. Yeah. And then I get up and go to craft service.
Yeah. What's your favorite item?
I kept sort of waiting to get canceled, I guess. And I was a little disappointed that I didn't.
Did they ever tell you don't do something?
No, HBO has never given us any notes at all about anything.
Yeah.
That's truly the most amazing experience, the luckiest experience to be with those people in that company. It was a dream. It was ideal. They were great.
Well, you have 2 dream experiences.
What was the other one?
Seinfeld.
Oh, yeah.
Fridays. It was Fridays. Yeah.
By the way,
Oh man, Friday.
you know what? When we did the Seinfeld season, I'm sure you don't remember this, but we're standing and they're starting to do the scene, whatever, and Larry goes, I stood right here. This is where I said every show. I was here. I would sit here. I would stand here. And I thought that was the fucking coolest thing. Oh my God, was that awesome. Because I pictured you standing there, being in charge of this historic show. I loved it, man. Yeah.
Yeah, that was a fun scene.
Well, the first time I met Larry, he doesn't remember this, I was like 13 years old, and I went to a taping of the TV show Fridays.
Oh, God.
I don't know if anyone remembers, but it was kind of a Saturday Night Live on the West Coast show, which felt like everyone is on cocaine every scene of the show. And I got your autograph. I still have it.
Aww,
and Larry wrote,
"Wow, so sweet. Oh,
Larry wrote, live and be well, because that was his catchphrase for the Matsoi sketch, where you're a rabbi.
Yeah.
Damn. I used to love that show, man.
That's pretty amazing.
And Michael Richards was on that show.
He was on that show?
Yeah.
So did you just like make a mental note like, that guy?
Yeah. He's not an easy person to forget. Yeah.
And now, JB, you seem like you are purposely pushing the line as far as you can more often than almost anyone on the show. Do you regret any of your runs? Do you ever work with someone and go, I really shouldn't have said that to that person?
Nah, you know what? Once I'm in character, I just go as far as possible. And then I let Larry pull me back. Because it's easy to pull back, it's hard to turn up. I just go as far as possible. And I've said some shit, I said some shit that I had to hold my laughter in because I said, that shit was good. No, Jeff will tell you, we do some shit sometimes, and I'll sit there and say, that shit was fucking great. And I'll say, Jeff, man, look, if you ain't gonna use that shit and it's gonna be on the edit room floor, let me know right fucking now, because I'm using that shit in my stand-up. Do not let this deviled egg joke go to waste.
Right. By the way, I never worked harder than last season, 2 seasons ago, saving pimento.
Oh my God, man. Oh, fuck, man.
It's like talking about an olive. He doesn't want to eat that olive with that red thing. What's it called? And Larry goes, pimento, and go, yeah, the same thing that comes out of a woman when she has a baby. It was an unnecessary piece of dialogue in an unnecessary scene, and I rigged everything to keep that in.
I've picked up a few of his expressions that I use constantly in my life.
Yeah.
Can a motherfucker live a life?
Yeah. Can a motherfucker live a life? I say that. Yeah.
Sometimes no.
Yeah. And then the other one that I picked up was
touche,
motherfucker.
Touche,
yeah.
motherfucker.
I use that a lot.
But when we're shooting, half the time, because these guys, and it's not said enough, they're acting and writing at the same time. They're not just doing this paint by numbers, here's the lines. They are literally acting and writing at the same time, which is amazingly impressive. And half the time, like Larry will put his hand up and start to laugh, and he's not laughing at what's happened, he's laughing at what he's about to do, right? He goes, hold on, and he's like, okay, here it comes. And you just, it's like everybody knows, like you guys break before because you're writing it in real time, so you know what's coming out is gonna be great. And it's so different from every other show, and what you guys do is so goddamn impressive and so hard to pull off. And
I'm gonna tell you guys something.
Awesome.
I've said this a few times, but I'm gonna tell you something. The first few seasons I did the show, I never fucked around with the outline because I hate overthinking things, so I just would not read the shit. So, no, I'm serious. I never fucking read the outlines. I got more out of it when I come to the set because I could think quick and figure out what I'm gonna say to Larry. So I would come to Jeff and say, what's happening today? And Jeff would tell me what the scene is. I say, perfect, okay. But my process is this. I try to decide in the moment if I'm gonna have Larry's back or go against him. No, I decide before I say my first words, I decide, do I wanna have his back or have this motherfucker's back? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I try to figure out what I'm gonna get the most mileage out of. Like, is this a funnier route going this way or is it funnier going this way? Like, is it a fuck you Larry mode or fuck you? You know what I mean? That's my friend Larry. You know, I don't know which way to go. And I try to give him something he did not know about Leon, whether I answer it or not. In the constipation scene, I said I ran a 5K marathon constipated. I was in a hot dog eating contest, constipated. I still fucking won. I saw the porno constipated. So Larry says, you saw the porno? But I didn't answer him. In my brain, I kind of regret it because on the way home, I was like, fuck, I should have answered that question when he said, you shot a porno? I should have answered that shit, but I skipped over it. But sometimes I don't want to change the scene because it'd have been more about that than the constipation.
I was in a hot dog contest.
Because Leon be fucking.
And I like to read all the outlines because I like to know what the scene needs. You know, and if somebody's yelling at him the scene before, then I'm not going to be yelling and screaming. I like to see how to push the scene forward.
What's your favorite, like, epic rant?
Oh, God, there's so many. I like the one we just did on the staircase, the Eurovirus. You know, that's become my new favorite, but maybe just because it's fresh.
What would be the rant at Larry for ending the show?
What do you mean?
How would you rant at Larry to not end the show?
Oh, to not end the show? I wouldn't, because I want him to do whatever he wants to do.
Oh, see, that's Susie Essman. Yeah. That's the opposite of Susie Green.
Oh, man.
I mean, I think Susie Green said, go back to fucking jail, Larry. I would never say that to him.
By the way, Susie, it's his kryptonite. But there's two things that make Larry laugh more than anything. One is just the stony face of authority.
Yeah.
Like Philip Baker Hall or, you know, don't talk to Mrs. Morrison, like that kind of stuff. And the other one...
No, yeah, and anybody,
if someone is screaming at him, it's like someone's tickling him. It's like, oh. The more the angrier they are at you, the more you giggle like a schoolgirl.
It's true.
yeah, I don't know why. For some reason, anybody screaming and cursing at me, I just find it to be hilarious. And I can't, and I always laugh. In season 2, that professional wrestler came over to the car.
Oh my God. Oh my God.
Because I was shooting his kids with my finger, and they were shooting me. They were in the back seat of a station wagon that faced me as I was driving, and I kept shooting them, and they were shooting me. And then the guy stopped the car and he came over my window. Remember Thor?
Yeah.
And he banged on the window. You bald motherfucker! He just, I couldn't get through the scene. He killed me. And Philip Baker Hall also.
Yeah.
It was
amazing.
There was one scene where I'm in the doctor's office. I'm in the doctor's office waiting for him to come in, and I'm on the phone, and he comes in. He comes into the examining room. That's where I am. I'm waiting for him. And I see him come in, and I say goodbye, and I put the phone down. And this guy, I don't know, it was so funny. He just walks over to the phone. He slides. he slides the phone.
You were on the doctor's phone.
Huh? I'm on the doctor's phone. He slides the phone away from me. He goes. He goes. You're not supposed to use that phone. Yeah. and I died every single time he did it. Yeah. You're not supposed to use that phone. Yeah.
Have any of you had to break up with your therapist recently?
No.
My therapists have learned enough to accept what I present them.
No, but that is one of my favorite episodes too, is when Larry sees his therapist at the beach in a thong.
Yes.
And I remember shooting that day and just like the self-tanner in the trailer on his ass.
That's a reason to do it.
That's a reason to do it. He was so great, but just that Larry couldn't get... Larry had to break up with his therapist because he'd seen him. And when we shot it, then he bends over too, just to make...
Now everybody wears a thong. You couldn't even do that now. The thong is popularized.
I had to beg him to keep the thong in. He was so turned off by it. No, I can't. It's hysterical. No, I can't. And then you put it in the cut. God bless you.
Yeah.
I shared a therapist with Adam Sandler, and Sandler had a party, and the therapist showed up at his party, which I don't think you're supposed to do, and he was with a woman, and he said, yeah, we've been dating 8 months, new record.
Bad information.
Who said this?
My therapist. He was proud that he hit the 8 months. Now this has nothing to do with tonight, but you do a lot of jokes about tipping. And there's a lot of debate right now that everywhere you go, it comes up. Do you want to tip 20%? I bought like a crystal at a crystal store the other day, and the guy didn't even stand up. I just handed it to him, and it said, do you want to tip 25%? What are you guys' feelings about the new era of tipping?
It's hard too because they're watching you.
Yeah.
It's not even like the old days when you could put in a thing and slide.
It's like if there was no curtain in a voting booth.
People just watching.
It's just in public now, and they're looking and they're looming over you.
I'm just glad that I'm in a different financial position.
Yeah.
Because if I was in my old financial position and I had to go through that every time I got a cup of coffee.
Yeah, that would be hard.
Yeah, that wouldn't have worked for me. Yeah.
It's also a problem when you go to a restaurant and they recognize you, and then it's like, oh fuck, now I got to leave a big tip.
Yeah. Now we have a couple of questions before we end from fans on the internet. Gave some questions. What was the hardest you think you ever laughed while shooting?
The hardest I've ever laughed?
Uncontrollable, the whole thing falling apart.
Well, probably Philip Baker Hall, do you think?
Philip Baker Hall, it took so long.
Yeah.
It took so long.
And
you just go, I'm sorry, I know everyone wants to go home. I'm sorry, I want to go home. Do it again, and then you laugh again.
The worst is a Friday night when you know the crew wants to get out of there and I'm laughing. It's not good,
I have to say, I don't break generally on the show, but when he dropped his pants and he was wearing ladies' panties, hold on. I had to run in the other room and put my head under the couch. I can't believe what I just saw. I can't believe it.
Someone on the internet asked, how long should a friend use their sad voice after someone close to you dies?
That's good.
I like that one.
That's a great one. That's
pretty good.
Because I noticed, Larry, you stopped with the sad voice. It's only been a day.
Yeah.
I didn't know. I didn't know I still needed to use the sad voice.
That's a great idea.
Well, there's a lot in that area. What is the sorry window for when someone passes away? Is it more or less than 2 years?
That's a long
Oh
time.
no, 2 years is way too long.
Yeah.
I think we did an episode about that. The smiley face on the head.
Yeah.
Right?
It'd have to be a...
Our father died 2 years ago.
Exactly.
She told me her father died 2 years ago, and I didn't say anything.
Right. And the statute of limitations was over.
Yeah, I said,
Right, do I have to say, I'm sorry, your grandfather passed away in the 1800s?
exactly, yeah.
How sorry do I have to be?
How do you guys feel about the fact that the music on the show has become such a part of the culture?
Well, the music is.
Yeah.
I mean, I always feel like the music is the laugh track on the show.
Yeah.
You know, the music, especially the all the interstitials, they're in my head all the time. I love the music.
You know what else it is? To me, it's the curtain. It's the curtain. When you hear that stuff, it's like the curtain's going up on a show, and it tells you this is a show, and it's going to be funny, and we're just trying to make people laugh.
It's such a weird one because you put it under any strange moment, like Donald Trump in court. It's always comic gold that you stumble into.
Yeah.
Like almost any Ben Affleck in an interview, anything. It's
a
funny
meme
how
now.
often, and it always works. No one's tired of the joke. It can happen 1,000,000 more times.
Yeah.
It's the best meme out right now. It's
Yeah.
a meme.
We thought it was Rockford Files, but it was that one. Now, I'm sure you're approached by people with Curb scenarios. They want to give you ideas for the show. Has anyone ever given you a good one? A stranger?
yes, once.
Yeah.
Once.
This season.
Oh, then twice.
Twice. The pie.
Huh?
The bites of pie, returning the pie.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, this season, yes, a stranger.
Yeah, you're taking too many bites of this pie. It's beyond the threshold of returnability. I mean, those were our words, but the subject, that idea.
That one, and there was a show. Remember, I killed a spider or something? Yeah, the Rat Dog show.
Rat Dog, yeah.
Yeah, I killed a spider.
Yeah.
I forgot what was funny about it, but somebody made a big deal about it, I think. I don't remember. So there was something about that I liked, yeah. But I think two, yeah.
JB, do you get people who walk up to you pitching you episode ideas or things your character should say?
No.
Did someone ever walk up to you and go, ejaculate?
Oh, I got a drive-by in New Orleans. I was helping my wife into the car, and someone drove by fast. I don't know how they even knew it was me. They said, "Get in that ass, Larry!" What was that?
I mean, generally, I will tell people I'm not allowed to do that. The Writers Guild to prevent,
Yeah.
I can't.
What will you miss most about the show?
These guys and the crew and everybody behind the scenes and just laughing all day.
Yeah. Larry's uncomfortable with compliments, I've noticed. But he has no choice. The show is over.
Yeah.
And you guys don't work for him anymore. So would you each like to compliment Larry?
Oh, this is not good.
He doesn't write the check anymore, so you can do it.
This is not a good idea. No, that's way too uncomfortable.
How about a brief compliment, Jeff?
I'll start. I'll tell you, one of the best things about Larry is that no one gets off the phone better than him. We're talking, when it's done, he just hangs up. It's great. There's none of this goodbye, we need to see each other. Like, no one's going off to war, we'll talk again. It's done. And it's amazing. One other thing while we're doing it, because you are the same human being when your phone's at 3% as when your phone's at 87%. You have no battery charge panic in your blood, and it's amazing. He'll just be talking, I'll be talking to him, and it just cuts out. All right, it's done.
I take great pride in the fact that I never remember to charge, yeah.
I think he just hung up on you. I don't think that's a charge thing. JB?
I came on this, first of all, I gotta give my wife credit. My wife told me I would be on this show one day. You know, she manifested this. She said, we were watching, matter of fact, I was watching the show. We were watching the show. We loved the show. We watched it religiously. I was at SNL writing and stuff like that. And we were watching, matter of fact, this is the episode that took me over the edge. And I said, I gotta fucking get on this show somehow. It was the Crazy Eye Killer. No, that shit took me over the top. I had to lean, I said, this shit is brilliant. And I knew it was already great, right? And I said, I gotta get on this show one day. And when my wife told me I was gonna be on the show one day, and the one thing I will say about meeting people who you admire is you pray they're the same person in your head as when you meet them. And this dude right here, you know, I remember my first
Very disappointing.
Day,
yes.
Like, I personally wouldn't like the motherfucker, but Leon loves this motherfucker. But I remember my first day working with him, because although I was a writer on SNL, I was also in sketches here and there and monologues and stuff. And you know, it's a different pace working in live TV. Because look, Larry worked there, he fucking quit and came back, you know. So it's a different pace. And Larry corrected me my first day on set. We started the scene, and Larry said, cut. And he pulled me to the side, he said, do it more real, don't do it sketchy. And he told me that once, and I remembered it for 6, 7 more seasons. But that one correction made me a better actor, you know, especially in the improv world. Although I was doing improv before I started doing stand-up, it was the first thing I ever did in 1989 at the old Improv Comedy Club in New York. I took an improv class to find out what my rhythm was, who I was gonna be on stage, and that was the tool I put in my toolbox. And who would know, years later, 2006, I would be in town for one day for a friend's memorial service and get an audition for Curb Your Enthusiasm.
He didn't even have to talk at the audition.
He had the part. You had the part when you sat down.
He had the part. All he did was turn and look at me. And I burst out laughing. Yeah. And that was it. He didn't have to say a word.
There's a trick that I do. I try to do this.
I remember his audition. Right?
I always try to come in the room.
Yeah.
I always try to come in the room as the character. Because I like to drive the car as opposed to wait for somebody to get in. And I feel like that's my rhythm. You know what I mean? So I like to come in as the character. And
that's why acting is so boring. Because when you have a script,
right.
I don't know, you're just kind of waiting to talk.
Yeah, you're waiting. So yeah.
You know, when's it my turn? When's it my turn? When do I go? When do I go? Oh, I'm going soon. I'm going. Talk.
Right.
Yeah. You know, and here you don't have any of those thoughts when we do this, right?
Yeah. It's
Cheryl?
just reaction.
Well, oh boy.
Oh, we're still on this? No.
Yeah, no. Listen, I'm going to try not to. I will try not to be too. Okay.
Don't worry, Jeff will make it weird.
Yeah, I'm going to try not to make it weird. So I won't even go into. Okay.
Yes, I'm fabulous. I'm a great guy. Yeah, come on, let's go.
Okay. Well, I will say this. Larry is an honest. He cannot have a dishonest moment, and I find him. I'm talking about you like you're not here. Because he is so in real life. I'll say in real life, right? I remember my nephew went into the hospital. I had to go back home. I come back, and Larry pulls me aside and he said, how's your nephew?
I said that.
And I said, he's much better. And you said, how's your family? And I said, they're doing fine. And he said, how are you doing? And I said, I'm fine. And he goes, are we good? He said, I could keep asking you, how's your family? But it sounds like you're all fine. But that's what's so brilliant about him, because honestly, if I would have said, I'm actually having a tough time, that would have been, okay.
He would have walked away.
Yeah, okay, I'm not gonna, he would have walked away. No, he wouldn't be, but he,
Kidding.
okay, I won't.
No, I had a feeling that everything was okay, otherwise I wouldn't have asked.
And then I'll just say this. You know, I got the master class in comedy, right? So I would watch Larry work, and I would listen to notes he would give and things he would say. And I remember there was one scene where the woman got breast implants, and she came into the house, and she wanted you to feel them. And I was home, and I come in and see it, and I walked in and saw his hands. And Larry said, this time, come in, bring the plant. Like you're about to do something with the plant. And I thought, well, okay. So I walk in with a giant plant that has nothing to do with anything, but it did make it funnier because it's like, but that would have never occurred to me. I know, now he's mad that I'm talking. But it's those little moments, I mean, they're the small moments.
Big deal, so I told you to bring it.
Yeah, win with him.
No. Okay, you can move on.
Jeff.
Come on, it's only 2 more people. Relax. You're fine.
Two more people.
Larry is probably my greatest confidant. We talk about, you say it, it's all shut, nothing, and he gives me the best advice, he always has. And I also respect him so much that I told him he didn't have to come to either of my kids' bar mitzvahs. He was like so happy. I knew he would be happy. It's showing your friend the proper respect. And that's all I've ever, you know, people will come up to me with their ideas, maybe thousands of times at this point. And I'll say, I don't want to hear your idea. And they say, why? I go, I'm one of the executive producers and I don't pitch Larry ideas. Why, you special person at the farmer's market? They're like, no, let me tell you, you know. And I go, no, it's horrible. I can't ever go to, but I really like leaving him alone. To me, he's so special to me that I try not to be in his life too much. And by the way, when like the bar mitzvah thing, oh, thank you, I don't have to go. Oh, yeah. Whatever I do, a nice thing, that's what I get. And so I respect him and I leave him alone. And I love him. I will say that publicly every day.
Susie.
Well, I love him and all the things that you all know and, you know, the brilliance, but I will say this, he's the most loyal and generous friend.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Sorry.
Oh, he hates that.
I thought you knew me.
And Larry, how do you feel just about this group of people and your crew and all the people that have supported the show for all this time?
Really?
Just once you do it. Because then it'll be on film and then you just can forward it to people later.
You know, what can I say? I've been unbelievably lucky twice.
It's 3 Fridays.
Twice. To be surrounded by just the greatest cast and just the comedy that we were able to produce. I don't know, that's how I like spending my time, with people who I want to be with, having fun, doing comedy, and it's
Save you?
it's a little sad, you know.
I remember distinctly, and this has stuck with me, that very early on, he looked at me, you'll never have this much fun on a show, ever again. You'll never have this much fun. And that was like season 5, and you are damn right.
Yeah, it was the most fun I could ever have possibly had doing anything to just to do that, to write it and then, film it. I can't imagine how I could ever have had more fun in my life.
Well, Larry is very generous. When the show first started, I called you, I don't know if you remember this, and I said, can I come to set and see how you do it? Just to learn the process of what you were doing, because I was doing a pilot. And then I said, has anyone ever locked up and been unable to improvise? And you said, it's never happened, thank God. And then I watched for 3 hours a guy lock up and bomb and bomb and bomb, and then you turned to me and said, that guy is in a 5-episode arc. We're gonna have to reshoot all of this, but you kept shooting with him, even though you knew you were gonna cut him out. And then I bumped into you like a couple of months later, and I said, what happened with that? Did you have to get rid of that guy? And you said, no, we figured out how to teach him to do it, and then he was great.
Yeah, that was at, wasn't that?
At Lantana.
That was at Lantana?
Yeah.
I thought it was in an agency. No?
No, it's at Lantana.
Oh, okay.
It meant more to me that day than you, so I remember it. But I think we all want to thank you for, just for making us happy and making our lives better. The cast of Curb Your Enthusiasm, everybody. Thank you all for coming.
Great job, Judd.
Thank you.
Great job.